Top story this morning, the Prime Minister said to be clinging on to his premiership following the Lord Mandelson scandal.
Yes, Sir Keir Starmer is reportedly pinning all of his hopes on Donald Trump's state visit going off without a hitch.
Well, the American president is set to arrive tomorrow, and he could provide just the distraction the Prime Minister needs to ward off the threat of a backbench rebellion.
Well, let's speak to writer and journalist James Rampton, who joins us in the studio. Morning to you, James.
Hi.
It could be just the distraction the Prime Minister needs right now.
Well, yes, although the danger is pinning anything on Donald Trump is risky because you never know what he's going to say. Although we're reading this morning that there is going to be a big new deal that they're announcing between the UK and the US on a new generation of nuclear power stations, and that is going to be very positive for the economy. But Keir Starmer needs all the positive news that he can get at the moment.
But that nuclear deal has just come out of nowhere. So is this Starmer and Trump meet, and Trump sits and tells him, I think I want the Chagos Islands, you're going to buy that back, yeah, and also you're going to make this deal with us on a nuclear situation. Yes, Mr. Trump, yes, whatever you say. I mean, we weren't in the market for a number of small nuclear power stations until about 2 weeks ago.
Well, until perhaps you might say the last Labour scandal. That's too cynical an approach, perhaps. It may have been discussed behind the scenes for months. We don't know that. However, it's certainly true that Starmer is in desperate need of good news. The past 2 weeks have been cataclysmically bad for him. They have unleashed a torrent of unease on his own backbenches. We're reading about Mainstream, a new organisation that's been set up, obviously agitating for a change of leader. Andy Burnham is apparently on manoeuvres. He may well criticise Sir Keir Starmer at the Labour Party conference, which would be a rather unprecedented thing to do, but would certainly nail his colours to the mast. And there are lots of rebel MPs saying they want to get Burnham into a safe seat at the next by-election so he can challenge Starmer for the leadership.
Does this whole scandal feel like a death knell for the Prime Minister?
Well, that's very interesting you use that phrase, Ellie, because that is one of the phrases that the MPs have been using. They're saying he's in the last chance saloon. The Mandelson scandal, they're saying, is a death knell. There are more questions about when Sir Keir knew the full details of the scandal involving Jeffrey Epstein. So there are lots of unanswered questions still about that. And Alistair Campbell used to say, if a scandal goes on for 8 days, then someone will have to resign. He needs to change the narrative, the Prime Minister, or he's going to get really, really bogged down.
Andy Burnham's changing the narrative. I mean, to be so high profile so early in Starmer's premiership, I think is quite interesting.
It is very interesting, Eamon, because it was only just a year ago that Sir Keir Starmer won a landslide, and everyone said, you know, in the famous words of Tony Blair, a new day has dawned, has it not? You know, everyone thought that this was a new start after the Tory sleaze and scandals, but unfortunately Starmer seems to have fallen into the same trap. He seems to be politically tone-deaf, which is a fatal trait when you're Prime Minister. You have to be able to read the room, and it seems to me that he's got a tin ear and he's slightly wonky in his eyesight. He cannot tell what's going on politically, and that to me is disastrous. He botched the sacking of Angela Rayner, he botched the sacking of Peter Mandelson, and those are the things where you think a really confident, politically astute PM would have got ahead of the game and really settled those issues before they became toxic for him. But now it's a bit late because they really are toxic for him.